Hey friends, welcome back to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. We are thick in the middle of the gardening season for 2024, and like myself, I'm sure many of you are encountering some pests in your garden. So if you are really wanting to try to limit the amount of chemicals you're placing on your food, you're wanting to focus on practicing more organic gardening methods, then how do you deal with pests? Well, I am going to share with you today a few different products that I use that are considered safe for organic gardening, while also helping you to eliminate those pests from your garden. So let's go ahead and get started.
Hi friend, do you dream of having a garden but you don't know where to start? Do you want to switch to more natural products but feel overwhelmed by all the options? Do you believe that a holistic lifestyle would help your special needs kiddo but you're daunted by all the information out there? Welcome to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast, where you will learn how to work towards your dream for homesteading, gardening, and holistic living in small, simple steps that won't overwhelm you. Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm a wife, Jesus follower, and mom to some amazing kids. As some of my kids began experiencing health struggles and developmental delays, I decided it was time to switch to a holistic lifestyle. I quickly became stressed out and burnt out, feeling like I needed to change everything at once. I finally realized that I had to start making one small change at a time, then build from there. I learned to walk this holistic journey in a way that works for me and my family, without stress or overwhelm or constantly feeling like I wasn't doing enough. If you're ready to hear from another mama who understands what it's like to have no time and who can help you make changes towards better health for your family in a way that works for your specific life, then this is the podcast for you. Pop in your earbuds, reheat your coffee for the third time, and let's do this.
I know how it can feel to be really excited about growing a lot of good, healthy foods for your family. You're really motivated to avoid chemicals, but then the gardening season comes, pests all come, and then you notice your plants are starting to die from being attacked by pests. And you're really tempted to go back to the traditional, let's just get 7 dust and get rid of everything, kill all the pests so that I can actually get a harvest. And what I want to say is that it's completely understandable that you want to get rid of those pests because you've put a lot of hard work into getting this garden going and you don't want to lose it all because of the pests. But there are options that you can use that are considered organic, safe, that are not going to introduce harmful chemicals into your garden and potentially onto your food. So I'm going to share with you today just a few different products that can be really helpful for you when it comes to getting rid of pests and still trying to have an organic garden. So the first product is Captain Jack's BT, and this is great for dealing with some kind of worms, any kind of worm infestation. And it's really good for treating things like brassicas. So cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, etc. Anything like that. Anything that has a tendency to have caterpillars and worms come to essentially demolish the plant. This is going to be great for treating that. Also, eggplant, peppers, melons, and tomatoes are some other plants that are really going to benefit from the use of BT on them if you are starting to notice a worm or caterpillar infestation. And the great thing about this it is pollinator friendly, so it's not going to kill off bees or any kind of pollinator like that. It's just going to deal with the worms specifically and the caterpillars. And how this works is it is essentially a bacteria which you will spray and apply to the plants, which is going to kill off the caterpillar or worm, but it's not going to harm your plant. So what you want to do is if you see any type of evidence of a worm or a caterpillar, you're going to go ahead and spray your plant and you're going to need to reapply. It's not going to just immediately kill everything off, but it will over time begin to knock down that infestation and allow your plant to continue to grow and to thrive. Okay, another thing that I use is diatomaceous earth, and I always make sure that I get food grade diatomaceous earth. The way that diatomaceous earth works is that it basically it's these little shards and it will cut like the insect and dry out the exoskeleton of the insect. So it's going to work on things like ants, beetles, slugs, aphids. And you do want to make sure when you're applying this, it is a powder. When you're applying it, make sure that you are covering your nose and your mouth so that you're not inhaling the dust. But you could also wear gloves too because it can have a tendency to irritate the skin. But what I will do is just apply it. Let's say I'm noticing a lot of ants or there's aphids, you can apply it either to the plant or down at the base along the ground. The thing with diatomaceous earth is that whenever water is applied, it's not going to be effective anymore. So it is something that you want to apply maybe if you're going to water in the morning, then go ahead, water your garden, let it dry out, and then come after and apply the stuff. That way it has some time before you water again, or hopefully there's no rain coming. I wouldn't apply it right before there's supposed to be a rain shower coming. So just be cognizant of that when you go to apply it to get the most out of it, but also be aware that you are most likely going to have to reapply it again, just because once it has been rained on or you've watered your garden, it's not going to be effective anymore. Okay, and then the third thing would be a fungicide. And with this, you could either do a copper or sulfur-based fungicide. This is going to be really good for helping with powdery mildew or rust on your plants or leaf spots, anything like that. I think of like different types of squash typically have a tendency to get powdery mildew. So as we're looking at a way to treat that, you definitely don't want to wait until it gets to a really bad stage, but if you can catch it early, applying this can really help to knock that back, and then your plants can hopefully go on to continue to stay healthy and then produce a harvest for you. And then the last one is a product called pyrethrin, and it's basically just a plant-derived insecticide. It comes from the chrysanthemum flower, and in my opinion, it's just a really good broad pesticide because it does actually work on around 100 different pests. So it works on things like aphids, beetles, ants, caterpillars, squash bugs, which are my dreaded enemy. It also will work on cucumber beetles and just a whole lot more. You can do a little bit more research if there's something specific you're dealing with to see if it would work on that. But it does only kill at the time of application. And so it's better to go ahead and use it when you're starting to see signs of pests versus letting it get really heavily infested. And this is why it's really important just to be out in your garden, checking your plants, seeing if you see anything going on. Because as you will notice with all of these, it typically is going to require a little bit more reapplication and staying on top of things because we are not using the extremely harsh chemicals. We are using something typically that is derived from nature. So it might require you to apply it more times. It might require you to go ahead and make sure you are going through the garden every day and checking through to make sure you're not seeing any signs of any kind of pests. And I think that that is a great way to pair being aware of what's going on in your garden with also, if you start to see pests, having some options for getting rid of them. Because the reality is that we want to get a harvest. So having safe methods to get rid of these pests so we can continue to keep our plants alive to get a harvest is the goal. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have a different product that you love using that is organic, safe, to get rid of any kind of pest in your garden, please head over to our free Facebook community and share with us there. You can find us at bit.ly/motherhoodcommunity, or you can find us in the show notes below. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you back next time.
Hey Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who is wanting to live more holistically without the overwhelm? Also, don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. It blesses and encourages me to know that this show is helping you. All right, friends, it's time for me to go work in the garden and make some homemade bone broth. I will see you back next week.